Hello everybody, back in the land of Jack verse. It is I, your intrepid mad scientist, here to help you out with that which vexes you. Before I begin, I would be remiss if I didn't say a word or two in honor of the passing of David Bowie. I think every artist across the globe was profoundly affected by his loss. Why? Well, first and foremost, he paved the way for people like me, for the oddities and the freaks to be able to step out of their homes and say, I am here, ladies and gentlemen, and to hell with you if you don't accept me. Second of all, he made some of the most astounding music over the last 20, 30 years. So I think that it's pretty safe to say that every artist and a great number of non-artists feel this loss. In fact, the last time I truly felt a celebrity death was when Freddie Mercury died. Yeah. Anyway, back to the Jack verse. I just stepped out of frame. I'm in frame, I'm out of frame. In frame, out of frame. Actually, I don't know, because I'm just looking in the lens of my GoPro and I see me there looking deeply. Here I come. I'm going to see into you. There we are. I think many of you already know that I am not just a writer, but I'm also a teacher. I teach acting at the University of Louisville. I have, as crazy as this may sound, I have developed an acting technique. It's something that has been in the works for a while now, and I've really just now started to implement this technique with my students. The technique is called the butterfly effect. Now, if any of you have ever studied chaos theory, you know what the butterfly effect is. The gist of it is, I'll make this very simple, is that a single butterfly could flap his or her wings. And the effects of that flapping, the little gust of wind that comes off of that wings, could effectively become greater and greater the larger it gets away, and affect all things around them. Right? So it is my thought that in the transition from that movement to everything around him, there is a greater effect than we assume. And that artists can be affected by the smallest of things, right? And I implement that a lot of times with the use of music. And what does this have to do with the Jack verse? You knew I was getting to that. Of course you did. I also happen to employ this technique with my writing. How? I'm going to tell you. As I have been very fond of saying, I write without a net. What does that mean? Well, most people call that pantsers, which I think is kind of silly. Plotters and pantsers. Are we children? Yes, of course, sometimes I write without my pants on. Sometimes I write with my pants off. Is that any business of yours? Whether or not I'm in my underpants when I'm writing? Nasty, dirty little kids trying to get into my saucies and naughties. Stay away. Yes, I write without a net. What does that mean? I don't write with an outline. I start a story, I begin, I write that first sentence, and I go. And I just allow it to, I just see where it goes. I just let the story unfold as I write it. Now, what's important about this, and what a lot of, I think, some writers who attempt to write without a net, what they forget is that the butterfly effect is in full bloom. What you write here has a direct effect on what you write here, and what you write here, and what you write here. Okay? So it makes the process of writing a story incredibly simple, right? Think about it. If I start out with a car crash in a story, okay, that car crash is going to affect everything around it. The passers-by, the driver, the passenger, okay? And the effect that that car crash has on them is they're going to carry it with them in their lives, okay? So they have a car crash, and let's just say the passenger gets out of the car and walks away. And the effects are they have become confused, right? So they walk into a store, and they're not sure who they are. They don't even remember what habits they have or what addictions they have. So they assume, I'm a smoker, so they buy a pack of cigarettes, okay? So they walk out and they smoke their first cigarette. And maybe it was the first cigarette they've ever smoked, okay? So they start smoking. Next thing you know, the effect of them buying the cigarettes has given them a smoking addiction, right? They keep on going, and that smoking addiction winds up causing them to have a gravelly voice, right? Like a Tom Waitian gravelly voice. The effect of that is they wind up with a singing career that they never thought they would ever have. See how this is unfolding? I'm kind of writing a story as I go. You have to be open for that effect, for the flapping of those wings in every moment of the story, because it happens. You know, and you can't just go, okay, the butterfly effect is this car, is what happens as a result of this car wreck. And everything in the story arc is defined by that moment. But the truth of the matter is, as in life, everything might germinate from that car crash, but every moment after that will inspire the next moment. Right? And as a writer, you have to be open to that, and you have to keep your eyes, what I like to call child wide, and see everything. And it becomes difficult because there are times when you're riding along and you're like, oh, wait a minute. How did that one moment affect this one character? I got to go. So you go back and you read it. Oh, okay, I got that. Okay, now I can keep going forward. You have to keep kind of an idea of every little moment that occurs, because you never know which moment is going to become key to driving a character forward. So a lot of times when I'm writing and I come up with a moment for this character that could be key later on, I'll go drop down out of the text in the same document, and in all caps I'll write a note. This happened. Make sure to bring this back up. And I keep that running list of notes at the bottom of that document. Of course, that also messes up my word count, but I don't give a shit about word counts anyway. And then a lot of times I'll have notes and I'll look through them and go, I don't need that note anymore, or I cover that, and as soon as I cover something, I'll delete that note. But it's really important to understand that the way humanity works is that we are inspired by little tiny moments. They affect us. It doesn't always have to be this grand thing that drives us forward. Yes, that grand thing might kick the story off, but as the characters go, we allow their story arc to meander around into, subplots and love affairs, and then they go into little dark alleys, and they do all this wonderful stuff that makes the story rich and dimensional. And that happens because we allow that butterfly effect to happen. Okay? So as you're writing, be aware of the moments that could have a profound or even a superficial effect on your character later on. Right? The butterfly effect. I know it might sound corny to some people, but it works. It works as an acting technique. It works as a writing technique. It's an artistic technique. Any artist can use this. You're painting something, right? And you start down in this lower corner, and you're painting along. I'm not a painter. I can't even draw stick figures, so go figure. So you're painting along, right? And you paint this little tiny moment here, right? And you realize how profound a thing you just drew or painted. And then the rest of the painting goes up this way because of this little moment here. And then you reach this little spot up here and you paint this thing here. And you realize, oh my God, those two are, wow, we got to go down here. And you keep going. Same thing. Or you're writing music. You write a riff, and the riff is gorgeous. And you go, oh my gosh, let's write a counterpoint to that. And you write the counterpoint to that, and it's perfect. And then it inspires a melody. And that melody inspires words, inspiration, instinct. Follow it. Allow it to take you where it wants to go. Very often I'll say, I let the characters write the books. I do, because they're the ones living it. Sure, when I sit down to write, I'll often say to myself, what kind of trouble can I put these people in now? And I throw something at them and I see how they get around it. Let them write the story, but let them be affected. And let their actions affect their story. Make sense? You, in the back of the class, you got your head in your phone. Come on. Were you listening to me? I'm not going to repeat myself. You're going to have to listen to this over again. And how are you going to do that? In the Jack verse. Ladies and gentlemen,